Yo, what's going on, everybody? GCTV. I guess we'll turn this on. Will we? No, we won't. Oh, fuck, my eyes are like inflamed. um, we're here with a movie review. One of two movie reviews that will be coming out today. We have The Mist, a Stephen King adaptation, and at first I didn't even know this before I started watching the movie. Then I realized, oh, this is a Stephen King adaptation. There's a novella about it, so that's really cool. And I got kind of intrigued. I missed the first 5 or 10 minutes, kind of at the beginning. I knew who kind of the main characters were gonna be. The story takes place in Bridgeton, Maine. We're introduced to an artist, David Drayton, played by Thomas Jane, his wife Stephanie, and their 8-year-old son Billy. They take shelter in the basement of their lakeside home during a severe thunderstorm. So that's what kind of starts the movie off. While surveying the damage the next morning, they notice a thick mist advancing over the lake, which the movie is called The Mist, so you have to figure the mist is going to play a big fucking role in this movie. David and Billy leave for town with their neighbor Brent Norton to buy supplies. So there's this interpersonal conflict about insurance and stuff like that between Norton and David Drayton. But in conflict, they realize that they need to kind of get over it and go into town and get supplies. Inside the supermarket, they watch police cars speed down the street, and a terrified civilian, Dan Miller, runs in the store and warns of a danger lurking in the mist. Now, I don't really know of most of the actors in this show, but it's one of the best movies of that kind to me. I'm not really familiar with Thomas Jane. I know he's the big main role, the lead role of the show, but yeah. As the siren sounds, store managers Ollie Weeks and Bud Brown close off the supermarket, and the mist envelops the store, so they are trapped. There's a lot of people that are probably going to review this better than I did. I gotta fidget with something while I'm making these videos, if you guys didn't know. There's a lot of people that have probably reviewed this movie better than I have, but I'm just here to kind of talk about the plot, what people have thought, kind of what I've been thinking. Just kind of discuss the movie as a whole. Let's see. Against David's advice, Bagger Norm goes outside to fix the store's emergency generator, but he is grabbed by a tentacled creature and dragged into the mist. So Norm is one of the Bagger boys at the store. He gets dragged into the mist. David and Ollie direct the customers to barricade the stormfront windows, but one woman leaves to go home to her children. I don't think we ever figure out what happened to her. Maybe. Mrs. Carmody, one of the most annoying characters, but there's definitely some truths in what she says. She's like the religious fanatic. Oh my god, she uses it. Religion as her personality. There's nothing really wrong with that, but oh my god, it is so annoying. She begins preaching about an impending Armageddon, while a small group of skeptics, led by Brent, leave the store to seek outside help, which results in their death. So Brent Norton's like, oh my god, stop joking with me. You guys are trying to make a prank out of a terrible situation with the mist and people getting trapped out there. But leads to his demise. The boy that cried wolf, I suppose. David forms connections with several people in the store, including Amanda Dumfrey and Irene Repler, two teachers who came into conflict with Mrs. Carmody over her religious zealotry. So not a lot of people really like Mrs. Carmody, and throughout the show she kind of creates these cult followings of people, these factions. And it's really cool how this movie does this, there's people that deal with disasters differently. There's people that are like, oh my god, it's not that big of a deal, we can just do this responsibly. There's people that are very smart, ethical, moral about the situation. They're like, alright, let's take this one at a time. Let's experiment. So let's see what we can do. We can take very few risks. And there's people fucking crying for their deaths, fearing for their lives. They're like, oh my god, we're gonna die, might as well just let them take us. People that have kind of laid down to the creature. The people that follow Mrs. Carmody. She realizes her death is coming soon. It's really cool how they do this. Amanda carries a revolver in her purse and gives it to Ollie, who's a former regional shooting champion, so he's kind of the gunman of the group. And remember, David's an artist. He's not a gun shooter. He's not a guy that's used to being violent with anything. Remember, that's what he does. Um, as night falls, enormous flying insects attracted to the lights swarm in front of the stores and are preyed on by pterodactyl-like creatures. So there's a bunch of random fucking things in the mist. There's things with tentacles, there's giant fucking insects, and there's pterodactyls. So it's a pretty bizarre show. I'm not a big fan of like the fantasy type of movies, but this is one movie that the message in it is just so strong and so thought-provoking that I kind of disregard that there's like any fantastical creatures and in the, like mythical creatures in the show. Um, I just see those as like a common protagonist or antagonist. One of the creatures smashes a window, allowing the insects inside. So, in the ensuing panic, 2 people are killed and another is burned to death in an attempt to incinerate the insects. Meanwhile, Mrs. Carmody is miraculously spared from an insect, leading her to proselytize more fervently and gain followers among the survivors. So these people are like, well, she survived. There's a bug that fucking appeared on her, and it, like, all of a sudden jumped away. She's our savior. Yeah, like, I don't know. It's kind of odd. A small group led by David goes to the neighboring pharmacy in search of medical supplies, but it's attacked by giant spiders that kill 2 men, forcing them to retreat. Yeah. Norm is a really funny character, and Jim is one of the biggest pussies in movie history. If you watch the movie, you'd kind of know what I was talking about. I wouldn't fucking watch this though. Like, watch this review. I would watch the movie first. I'm not saying I wouldn't watch the movie. I liked the movie. It's one of my favorite movies we've watched on this channel so far. But yeah, go watch it. I'm already like halfway through the movie in terms of plot, so you might as well just go watch the movie. You're spoiled a little bit of things, but there's like the ending. It's a plot twist. And the 2 movies that I'm going to be reviewing today definitely have plot twist in them. So you want to watch this movie before this review, or else it's going to ruin your experience entirely with this movie. Yeah, so this is where they're like, oh my god, we can't just sit here and rot. We got to go out and do something. Mrs. Carmody, who had opposed the expedition, uses this failure, I mean, they got supplies, to increase her influence by offering protection from divine wrath to new converts. I don't think she's going to do anything like that, but whatever. The next day, following the suicides of 2 soldiers from the local military base, a 3rd soldier, Jessup, reveals that a government project to discover other dimensions was underway at the base, and that scientists may have opened a doorway into a dimension containing the creatures invading the town. So they use this to fucking blame this guy. I think this was kind of dumb. I wasn't like a huge fan of Jessup. He had a couple of like love scenes with some of the girls in the movie, but he's not that important to me. And the soldiers killed themselves realizing that they were kind of playing a role in this. So the fact that the soldiers killed themselves is like, yeah, Jessup should probably die too, because he knew everything, and this was very preventable. Mrs. Carmody's followers offer Jessup as a sacrifice and expel him from the supermarket, and he is immediately devoured by a giant praying mantis-like creature, which is like the 4th creature that is introduced, and kind of like the final creature. There's like those 4. There's the octopus, there's the flies, there's the pterodactyl, and they're stopped by Mrs. Carmody, who demands that Billy be delivered as the next sacrifice. His fucking son. Are you dumb? Ollie shoots and kills Mrs. Carmody as her followers attack. So Mrs. Carmody dies at this point in the film. My god, Miss Carmody went off the deep end. She deserved to die. I kind of wanted her to die, but at the same time, she had some crazy insight on things. I don't know, it was weird. Returning to their senses, her traumatized followers reluctantly allowed the group to leave. So now they're like, oh, we don't have our savior with us, you guys can leave. As the group makes their way through the parking lot, Myron, Ambrose, and Ollie are killed, and Bud runs back to the store. Oh man, I didn't want to see Ollie go, but it's unfortunate. Pretty much everyone in this fucking film dies, by the way, except for the main character. Spoiler alert, every character but the main dies. And obviously the military are alive, because they're fighting the cause. David, Billy, Dan, Amanda, and Irene reach David's car and leave. So this is when the group leaves, and oh my god, the second they leave, I feel something coming. Deep down in my gut, it's like, oh my god, something terrible is gonna happen. Driving through the mist, David finds his home destroyed and Stephanie dead, so his wife is officially dead in the film. Devastated, he drives away from town, passing a colossal six-legged beast, and eventually running out of gas. So they run out of gas into like the middle of nowhere, and David comes to some realizations, and I'm going to talk about those in a second. Oh, it's so heartbreaking. With no means of escaping the mist, the group decides to end their lives. Oh my god, it almost makes me cry. Like, it's so sad. It's one of the most devastating endings. One of these films that I don't want to watch again. It's one of the most disturbing, sick, twisted Stephen King adaptations that I've ever seen. And there's been a lot of them. Pet Sematary is definitely up there, but The Mist, in terms of disturbing, in terms of heartbroken, traumatizing, this film does it for me. I mean, oh my god. David shoots Billy and the other 3 survivors with his 4 remaining bullets before leaving the car to be taken by the creatures. So he realizes, we're not gonna make it. He kills his own fucking son, and he kills the 2 teachers, and he kills the old man that first came into the store. So this guy's killed 4 people, doesn't have enough to kill himself. He wants to die slowly. He wants the others to have that quick death. Oh, it's bad. And the fact that his son is just like waking up and he's realizing what the fuck has happened, that they're trapped in the middle of nowhere, it's terrible. Billy goes through so much in this episode. He almost deserved to die because of the emotional damage. It's really bad. It's good and effective at doing that, but it just sucks. I don't know. I mean, I like movies like this because it's kind of genre bending and kind of twists the conception of horror. But, oh, man, it's very disturbing. 7 does the same thing. That's the movie we're going to be reviewing next. Sorry about the washer. The mist suddenly dissipates, literally right after he kills them, revealing the vanguard of a U.S. Army armored column in the process of exterminating the creatures and restoring order. All of that for fucking nothing. David literally kills everyone close to him for fucking nothing. Oh, my God. The survivors the army rescued from the store also include the woman who left to get her to her children. So that's awesome. I love that they decided to have her survive. That was fucking great. Because if she would have died, that would have made it even worse. Like if they were carrying her on like a body bag to end it. Oh my god. Already traumatizing enough. Seeing this, David break down, realizing that he killed his son and friends for nothing, and that they were just moments away from being rescued, and drops to his knees, screaming.